Primary 6 Listening Comprehension Practice. Listening Comprehension Practice for Primary 6. Instructions to teachers. Before you begin this practice listening exercise, please check that the volume of the speaker is audible to all your students. Adjust the volume of the speaker to ensure that all your students are comfortable with the level of volume.
Instructions to students. In this practice listening exercise, you'll hear 7 passages in total. You will hear each passage twice. In the question paper, you'll see the questions and 3 options for each question. Only one of the 3 options is the correct or the best answer. Choose the option which you think is the correct or best answer, then put a tick in the box next to the option you have chosen as your answer. You will now hear 15 seconds of music before the exercise begins.
Listen to passage 1, then answer questions 1 and 2. Good morning, ma'am. May I take your order?
Yes, I would like to order 3 packets of nasi lemak, 5 pieces of chicken wings, 3 pieces of garlic bread, and an apple pie.
Would you like any drinks, ma'am?
I will have a packet of rose milk and a bottle of orange juice.
I'll repeat your order, ma'am. 3 packets of nasi lemak, 5 pieces of chicken wings, 3 pieces of garlic bread, an apple pie, a packet of rose milk, and a bottle of orange juice.
On second thoughts, I will not have the chicken wings and the rose milk. They may make me fatter, haha.
Alright, ma'am. I'll repeat your revised order. 3 packets of nasi lemak, an apple pie, and a bottle of orange juice.
You left out something.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. It is in the order. I just missed reading it out.
Alright, how much will that be?
That'd be $15. With our offer today, every 5th customer will have $2 off the bill. So you need to pay only $13, ma'am.
Here's $20.
Thank you, ma'am. Here's a change of $7.
Thank you.
Question 1. Which picture has an item that the customer did not order at all? Question 2. What amount would the customer have to pay before the offer? Listen to passage 2, then answer questions 3 and 4. My name is Param. I was in the town of Bigram. I had to go to a train station to catch the train at 7:50 a.m. That morning, I overslept and woke up at 8 a.m. As I missed the train at the Bigram station, I thought of catching it at the next station if I got into a taxi immediately. I got into a taxi, and there was a huge river to cross to get to the next station at Baram. The taxi driver told me that the bridge across the river is closed for maintenance work and said I could take the boat at the Bresam ferry terminal to cross the river to the Baram station. When I reached Baram station, it was 8:50 a.m. and the train had not arrived. The station master told me that the train was delayed due to a cow that got stuck on the railway track. I heaved a sigh of relief and thanked the cow silently. I had enough time for some breakfast at the station restaurant. After a nice hearty breakfast and a hot cup of refreshing coffee, I sat at the bench on platform 1 to wait for my train. It was a 45-minute wait. The wait gave me a chance to enjoy the natural scenery around Baram station.
Question 3. Which was the second mode of travel for Param? Question 4. What was the time when Param reached the Baram train station?
Listen to passage 3, then answer questions 5 and 6. I am a taxi driver. Today is Sunday, and I have several bookings for the day. I'm going to pick up a passenger in Bengal and send him to Senja Airport. From the airport, I have to go to Tidong town to pick up a lady and send her to the cruise terminal at Serene Bay. By then, it will be lunch hour. I will drive to Luxton Plain for lunch at home. After lunch, I will rest at home for an hour, and then I will be on my way to pick up a family of 3 and send them to the Tripura Zoo. From Tripura Zoo, I have to drive to Branji to pick up a young man and send him to Serena Center. After dropping him off, I will proceed to the nearby Green Mall for tea. After tea, my work is done. I will hand over the taxi to my partner there and head for home.
Question 5. Which route did the taxi driver take to send his second passenger to her destination? Question 6. At which location will the taxi driver end his work for the day? Listen to passage 4, then answer questions 7 and 8. Bread in all its various forms is a widely consumed food in the world. Bread is a staple food prepared by baking a dough of flour and water. It is popular around the world and is one of the world's oldest foods. The many combinations of different flours and differing proportions of ingredients has resulted in a wide variety of types, shapes, sizes, and textures available around the world. Leavening is a process that makes bread rise into a light and fluffy loaf. The most common leavening for bread is yeast. Bread without leavening is known as flat bread and is most closely related to mankind's first breads, such as the Middle Eastern pita, the Indian naan, and the Central American tortillas. A wide variety of fruits and nuts can be added to bread to improve its flavor, texture, color, and shelf life. Bread may be served in different forms at any meal of the day, eaten as a snack, and is even used as an ingredient in other food preparations. As a basic food worldwide, it is part of the cultural life of people around the world.
Question 7. What is meant by bread is a staple food? Question 8. Leavening is a process to make bread.
Listen to passage 5, then answer questions 9, 10, 11, and 12. English is spoken in so many countries around the world that it is becoming a global language. Never has a language spoken so widely to be able to reach the status of a world language. English has evolved over the centuries. Its growth is divided into 3 main stages. Old English, believed to be spoken between 450 to 1100 AD. Middle English, spoken from 1100 to 1600 AD. And Modern English, spoken since 1600. But it seems that Global English represents a new and 4th stage, in which its main use around the world is among the English speakers from non-English speaking countries. English spoken in non-English speaking countries is often referred to as New Englishes, such as the English spoken in India, Singapore, South Africa, and Jamaica. Some countries have, in the last few years, embarked on ambitious educational reforms, which will devote more time to teach English in their schools. In countries where English was known as a foreign language, it has now become a language for many, and it is now seen as a basic skill to be learned by primary school children. There are now about 5.8 billion people who do not speak English as either their first or second language. However, we have entered a period in world history when children from early primary school to university are all learning beginner or intermediate level English. In Singapore, English has been taught as a first language for decades. Alongside Standard English, Singaporeans also speak what is known as Singlish. Singlish is spoken with a mixture of words from the other official languages of the country, namely Malay, Chinese, and Tamil. Singlish is not used or taught in schools. The use of Singlish in formal writing is not allowed. Standard English and Singlish have their own place in the country, and Singaporeans ought to know when and where to use which.
Question 9. Which of the following information is stated in the recording? Question 10. English spoken in non-English speaking countries is often called. Question 11. Which statement, according to what you have heard, is correct? Question 12. Based on the recording, all students in Singapore should be. Listen to passage 6, then answer questions 13, 14, 15, and 16. Good morning, Miss Prema and friends. I wrote about a scary night which I will read now. I was in my room doing my homework. The air was still, and it was a very quiet night. I was so absorbed with my work that I did not even hear the clock striking at 9. Then all of a sudden, there was a gust of wind. Something white moved suddenly, which shocked me and frightened me a little. I was relieved to realize that it was only the white curtain hanging at the window that swayed in the wind. I went back to work, and almost immediately, I heard a ghostly howling sound from the forest nearby. Could it be a ghost? I wondered. It could be, given that it was late August, the ghost month. I became terrified when the howling sound seemed to come nearer to my house. It took me some courage to go to the window. At the window, I realized that the howling sound was from the wind that was blowing through the gap in the window. I thought, there must be a reason for everything, and there was no need to be frightened. Then, out in the distant open field, something white moved. It was a human figure. What could it be? There must be a reason for it, I thought. But I could not figure a reason for this one. Then I went into my mother's room to get something. My mother was not in the room. The room was dark, and I was at the door. At the far end of the room, I saw a human-like figure, and it was all white. Could the figure I just saw entered my house? The thought sent a chill through my body. I froze. Not knowing what to do, I stared at the white figure. There must be a reason for it. The thought came to me again. I walked to the switch, mustering my courage, and switched on the light. The white figure was nothing but our white ironing board leaning against the wall. There must be a reason for everything, I thought.
Question 13. Which of the following is true based on what you have heard? Question 14. The howling sound was caused by... Question 15. Some people believed that in late August, Question 16. Which of the following information is correct based on the recording? Listen to passage 7. Then answer questions 17, 18, 19, and 20. A milkman would carry bottles of milk in a basket each day to be delivered to his customers. He would balance the basket on his head carefully as he walked the streets in the village to deliver the milk bottles. Every time he went for delivery, he would dream about his life in the future. His ambition was to be a rich landlord. He would dream that he would become a wealthy landlord in his village. Every villager would rent land from him to build their houses and have farms. He would collect thousands of dollars each month from those who rented his land. With the money, he would build himself a grand mansion on top of the hill just outside the village. From there, he would look down to see that the villagers are working to produce the crops to be sold in the market. With the money, they would pay his rent promptly. He became greedy and thought it would be a good idea to raise the rent every year for more money. One day, the milkman was on his way to deliver the milk bottles when he met a man who had rented a piece of his land. He had not paid the rent for a month. The milkman stopped him and asked, "When are you going to pay me the rent? It has been a month now." The man replied, "I'm sorry, sir, I don't have any money now. I will pay the rent as soon as I sell the vegetables and fruits in the market, after I have harvested them." The milkman said sternly, "You better do as you say, or else you may have to pay more." The man laughed quietly. Then the milkman found himself on the balcony of his new mansion. He looked as far as his eyes could see. Then he looked down and saw some farmers standing idly. As he bent his head down, the basket with the milk bottles dropped on the ground. The bottles were shattered into pieces with the milk forming a pool around him. Only then did he realize that he had been in his dreamland. He stood looking sadly at the wasted milk.
Question 17. In the future, the milkman wanted to become a Question 18. When did the man say he would pay the milkman? Question 19. Where was the milkman when he saw some farmers not doing their work? Question 20. The most suitable title for the story will be